we always think that our kids deserve the best, and sometimes we think that title is the best, and we forget about what they need versus what we want them to have. In this video, I'm going to share with you 4 mistakes, homeschooling mistakes, that you may have never heard of. And they're going to be pretty deep too. And so be ready, be ready. Now, I am honored to be doing this collaboration with Rachel over at 7 and All. I think she kind of asked me to do it because she knows I'm a little bit edgy sometimes. And these are some really, yeah. So you should totally check out Rachel. I love her to death. She's amazing over at 7 All. Link in the description box below. She's awesome because she thinks outside the box. And I don't know if that's because she's a 2nd generation homeschool mom or if it's because she's a missionary in a foreign country. I don't know. But let's go ahead and talk about these 4 things. So let's talk about the first one, not engaging your kids. Now, this is a pretty broad statement and can include a lot of different situations. So let's look at the mom that says that she unschools her kids. And what she means by unschooling her kids is she means that she just kind of lets her kids explore, discover whatever they want to do whenever they want to do. First of all, what I described is not unschooling at all, because unschooling, that philosophy in and of itself, is probably one of the hardest, in my opinion, one of the hardest ways to school, because you are so engaged with your child's education. You're asking questions, you're watching them, observing what they like, what they don't like, you're doing field trips and museums and nature walks and vacations and just lots of different things, just exposing them to everything and anything you can possibly get your hands on and looking to see what they kind of gravitate towards and develop your curriculum, so to speak. I mean, there's no curriculum, but what they're gonna learn, so to speak, based off of those things. You're holding their hand and letting them guide you instead of lifting your hands and being hands off. And there are a lot of families that say they're unschooled, and that's what they do. They just throw them the computer and say, go. And this has led to some problems where kids don't learn how to read. And that is kind of my pet peeve, is seeing children read. I think that once you learn how to read, you've just opened up the floodgates to learn so much more. And I have seen unschooled parents, or parents in general, just parents think that it's okay to let your child decide when it's okay for them to read. And then they don't learn how to read until they're well into their teens. They have missed out on so much. And that is my opinion. But I think that the parents should be more engaged in a child's education. But you go to the other side of things where you've got that parent that is so into making sure that all the T's are crossed, the I's are dots, and they're just feeding their child so much core curriculum that they don't have room to breathe and to discover the things that they enjoy and build relationships with their siblings and parents and even friends sometimes, because they're getting shoved so much information down their throat. And in this case, we're still not engaging them. We're not engaging them in things outside of that core curriculum. And that happens too. I think we really all need to just take a second, step back, and look at how we present information, learning, curriculum, whatever you're presenting to your kids, and how you're presenting them. You're holding their hand through the process, whether you're leading them or they're leading you. I mean, that's up to you, however you do it. The whole reading thing, that's like a whole, I could have made like five mistakes, but I do know some people very, very much feel strongly about letting their child decide when to read. I'm just gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it there and go to number 2. Now, number 2 is gonna be a little difficult for me because I've seen so many people get hurt, so many people hurting, and that is the quitter's mentality. Now, we've all heard it said across the board from former homeschool parents, curriculum writers, co-ops, etc., that if you have a curriculum that is not working for you or your child, it's okay to quit it in the middle of the year, toss it out, and get something new. And on occasion, yeah, it's totally okay to do that. But if you see yourself falling into a pattern of testing out curriculum and after 3 weeks you don't like it, you throw it out and you're doing it again, or maybe you're starting up a co-op and then you're walking away from it and trying another one, that's a problem with commitment. And the problem starts to mess with your kids. In today's society, we have a microwave society. We go here, there, whatever. If we're not satisfied, we go somewhere else. And if we're not satisfied there, we jump around a lot. And it's not a good thing because you don't get to develop deep, meaningful relationships, build skills, integrity. I mean, colleges, the workforce is noticing this more and more with our generation, or this upcoming generation. They don't like the job, they walk off and leave. People want to see people commit. And if you're seeing a pattern of not committing, you might want to reevaluate that. And it's really hard. Coming from someone who has seen my kids build relationships with people and only to see that person walk off and never see them again after 2 months, also see people just always feel unsatisfied with anything and everything they try. The frustration that lies behind that. Nothing's perfect. There's no perfect curriculum out there. Never. And there's no perfect child. There's no perfect co-op. Sometimes just keeping the commitment, even if it's till the end of the year, is a good thing. And finding those things that you really enjoy, maybe sticking around with those things for more than a year. Build those deeper, meaningful relationships with people. Have them see your kids grow up all the way through, elementary, middle, teens. Experience that with people. And I think there will be a lot of blessings from it. And same is true for number 3. Getting so into a homeschool philosophy or mindset or into the curriculum too much, mostly philosophies, that you ignore what your child needs at that time. Now I'm talking it could be anything. It could be you're so into the Charlotte Mason philosophy or unschooled philosophy or classical conversations philosophy that it gives you this kind of, I don't know, what's that word? Gives you that pride, like we're unschoolers or we go to CC. You know what I mean? Like, it puts you, like, it's a pride thing. Let's just be honest. But you're so into that philosophy that you forget what your child needs. Your child may not be really into that or their learning style or philosophy. It may not work for them. It may work for you, but it may not even work for you. It may be that you're so into that and you think it's so glorified in some way that you force yourself into that situation and ignore all the crying and the yelling and the pain and the hurt and the not learning and the, all the bad stuff. Because you want that badge of that title, unschool mom, CC mom, you know what I mean? I don't think there's really too much to say about that, except I guess these are all that you just have to really look at your life and see if that's what's really going on. It's a hard one to come to terms with because we all want to feel special. We all want to feel like we're doing that extra something for our kids that's just going to help them grow and blossom into just a better person. We always think that our kids deserve the best, and sometimes we think that title is the best, and we forget about what they need versus what we want them to have or how good they are. You know what I'm trying to say. It's that whole mentality of you have to go to college, you want to be a doctor or a lawyer. That is, it's kind of the same idea. That title, you're focused on that title. Another thing that you have to just really kind of reevaluate yourself, take it to the Lord, pray about, that kind of stuff. That's a tough one. And number 4, don't villainize the public school. And that's really hard because, I've done it. We've all done it. Made it out that the public school is completely evil in so many different, The reality is that sometimes public school is good for a certain type of person and it may not be good for you. There may be times where I'm a homeschooler, and when you're conversing with someone who's in public school, that whole arrogance tends to come off, and that's probably not a good thing at all in so many ways. And for the child, when they hear how evil public school is, there's a lot of things that can happen there. They have less respect for teachers that, I'm sorry, but it's not easy to be a teacher. You're working harder than anyone else and you're way, way underpaid. But it's hard work. And they should be respected by everyone, in my opinion. The child can also feel, like they're better than everybody else. And also the child could go the opposite direction and be absolutely terrified by public school. That it's this deep, dark, black hole, and the mere thought of even going near a public school is just punishment. There may be a situation in the future where, God forbid, something happens where you get sick and you're going to have to send your kid to public or private school. What are you going to do there when there's that resistance, that disrespect, that fear that comes into it? Talking bad about the public school is exactly what that is. It's gossip, and there's so much damage that can be done behind it. Now, I'm not saying I'm completely innocent, because we've all done that. We all have done that. The older I get, the more I see my homeschool kids grow, the more I understand that public school in so many situations is something that's needed. It's not what God has called me to do, but it is needed in situations. It's just not your style. It's just not your thing. So I hope these 4 tips didn't scare you away and you made it till the end of the video. If you're interested in learning more about our journey, feel free to subscribe to our channel. I am a former public and private school teacher. I am a homeschool mom. I do evaluations for homeschoolers in the state of Florida, and my youngest daughter has Down syndrome. So this is about our journey. Everything that I learn, what I'm going, I just share. I'm a big giant open book. So I hope you enjoyed this. Give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below. Tell me if any of this hit home or if you have some other stuff that you want to add to it. And until then, I will see you guys in our next video. Happy homeschooling.